tell. Yes, okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Indian River County Hospital District regular monthly meeting of February. Nice to have everybody here in person, and we are especially, you can't hear? Push it, maybe. Are you there? Okay, it wasn't on. Okay.
Hello.
Once again, welcome everybody to the February meeting of the Indian River County Hospital District, our regular monthly meeting. Hope everybody's there. Welcome to anybody who is watching us online. We are especially pleased tonight to have Tracy Zudans here with us. We wish she was on this side of the table, but she's on that side of the table. But Tracy, would you do the invocation for us?
So it's always been my pleasure to have the honor to do the invocation for you guys. So thank you for allowing me to do it again. It's encouraging to see our community and the leaders that have been chosen and the responsibility that goes along with leaders, especially elected officials, is so daunting sometimes and requires a lot of wisdom. But one of the things that, you know, in doing some research that I find so encouraging is that it's not just local leaders that look upon God to see where his wisdom and his plan is. It's leaders like generals and presidents and revered pastors that also rely on not just trusting in God, but knowing that he has a plan and a purpose, regardless of the circumstances and the chaos that we're involved in. So if you all would join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the opportunity to participate in this community in a way to show not just leadership, Lord, but that your presence and your wisdom and your will for this community is so enlightening. Lord, that you have put us in a place at such a time as this that we can offer to the community ways to show peace, ways to show your plan, and ways to bring people together collaboratively to know that your presence is here and ready and willing to help others understand who you are and your plan and purpose. Lord, I pray for your wisdom on the trustees here in our community and on all our elected officials, Lord, and I pray your blessing upon this time, this community, and this country. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much. Michael, lead us on the pledge.
Yes. It's been a long time. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If I could hear a motion for approval of the chairman's meeting minutes dated January 20th, the regular monthly meeting minutes dated January 21st, and a February disbursement of, Mr. Jones?
$1,131,759.34.
Second.
Okay, all in approval? Okay, all right, thank you. So along these lines, we have a very important resolution for tonight that I would like to read. And this is, whereas Tracy Zudans has served with distinction as a trustee of the Indian River County Hospital District for 3 years, and whereas during her service as a diligent trustee from 2017 to 2020, she served as the Assistant Secretary to the Board for 1 year and was a conscientious chairwoman of the Gifford Health Center Advisory Committee. And whereas her guidance and leadership contributions were instrumental in the partnership transaction with Cleveland Clinic, Florida, and whereas Mrs. Zudans' leadership of the Gifford Health Center Advisory Committee led to the successful transition of the clinic operation, community acceptance and trust, and return of full services and building of valuable partnerships. And whereas her direction on indigent care issues and compassion relating to the provision of health care services was helpful to both the patients and the taxpayers of Indian River County. And whereas her passion and dedication to philanthropic activity and volunteerism brought joy and advancement to the vulnerable citizens of Indian River County, while minimizing taxation to the citizens of Indian River County. Whereas Mrs. Zudan's direct participation, personal contributions, and oversight of the overall activities of the district gave insight to the board and provided accountability to the taxpayers. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Indian River County Hospital that the Board of Trustees, on its own behalf and on behalf of the citizens of Indian River County, and particularly those who are served by the district, express our warm and heartfelt appreciation to Tracy Zudans for her efforts and exemplary service as a member of the Board of Trustees of the Indian River County Hospital District. The undersigned members of the Board of Trustees of the Indian River County Hospital District hereby certify that the foregoing is a true and correct copy of a resolution duly adopted by said board at the meeting of said board held on today, the 18th day of February 2021. May I hear a motion to accept?
So move.
And a second, and all in favor?
Aye.
And Tracy, I would like to personally give you this resolution. We will miss you. We will. And we hope the very best for you in the future. Thank you.
guys very much. It's been an honor to serve.
It's been an honor to have you here, really. And we hope all the best for your family.
I'm not really gone.
No, I know you're not. You'll be back, I know.
I know I see less of my husband.
Okay. Couple other things I wanted to go through. As a result of Tracy leaving, we obviously have an opening on the board. And we do know that 2 people have applied, although, as I understand it, they will not tell us who at this point. So, okay, so hopefully we will find that out and know that. But nobody can really take your place, Tracy. We know that too. I also wanted to make sure that everybody was aware and if the 2 that have applied are listening, that this is really a working board. And it isn't just that we meet 2 days a week, but people on this board are involved in all kinds of things. And just as an example of that, okay, everybody's kind of got some focus. Alan here has been focused on babies and mothers through partners for a long time, obviously as treasurer for the financials, and now he's on the board of Healthy Start, so continues on babies and mothers and that focus. Anne-Marie McChrystal, okay, I believe you attend almost all the Gifford Health Council meetings, and obviously the VNA, which is an important agency in our community, and keeping track of that. Michael is involved with We Care, on the board of We Care, and has been involved with that and the veterans for so long in this community. Karen is part of Senior Resources, and she was nominated to the Integrity Committee. Barbara has agreed that even though she's the working person on the board here, she has agreed to take over for Tracy at the Gifford Health Advisory Council, which I think is great, and we appreciate that. My focus has been through the mental health area, on the Mental Health Collaborative Board, working with the school district, and then also on the CCIR board. So for anybody who's out there watching, this board is not just, we don't just come and sit here twice a month. We're an active board, and I think that says a lot. And unpaid, by the way. That's an important thing too. Anne-Marie is not here tonight. There is a Funders Forum meeting, and for those that don't know, there is a group in the community called Funders Forum, which consists of Impact 100 and United Way and the Community Foundation and JI and pretty much all, the Grand Harbor and pretty much all of the areas that fund. And they get together fairly regularly to talk about what focuses should be and that type of thing. A couple of the things that they were talking about tonight I thought were particularly pertinent for us, and so I asked Anne-Marie if she would attend since generally I go to those meetings, but obviously I'm here, so I'm not.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to just clarify, because we all have masks on, that's Anne Marie Soriano and not Anne Marie
Yes,
Crystal.
Anne Marie Soriano, I'm sorry, Anne Marie Soriano is not here. She's at the funder store.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that is my report for tonight. And so Jennifer Peschke, our district council report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've been working on a couple things this month, just kind of reviewing some of the real estate transactions that we completed in the end of 2020 as it relates to our documents from our transaction with Cleveland Clinic, making sure everything is up to date in our file. Also, did quite a bit of work this past month just getting all of the bonds in order, getting them to Tallahassee. Once they were put in place, we did locate those originals, so those are handled. And then Tracy Zudan's bond has been canceled, and that's been sent in as well. When we get our new trustee appointed, we'll get a new bond appointed or issued for that person. Also, yesterday, we did the conflict of interest PowerPoint for each of you and went through that matter, so that occupied me a bit this past month. And then based on the action you took with regard to the health insurance for the district employees, we're doing a quick amendment to the employment manual so that that is accurate at this time. Any other questions for me?
All right, hearing none, we will move into the financial statement review. Alan?
Brief report, as you might expect. We remain in sound financial condition. Through January 31st, the districts received about 90% of the tax revenues estimated to be coming this fiscal year. Testimony to the prompt payment of taxes by residents of Indian River County. Deposits in the Seacoast Bank plus investments with Water Walker totaled $14.3 million at the end of January, and total expenses budgeted for the balance of the year are $9.2 million. So that leaves available reserves of about $5.1 million to confront evolving medical needs that confront the county. So as we go into the budget season for the next fiscal year, the district is in solid position to support the county's health needs, consistent with the mission. Thank you.
Good. We're moving forward, and we do start, I believe, shortly here that the agencies will be able to start sending in their requirements for budget, right? Going out Monday morning. So if anybody is listening and you intend to do that, you should have it information Monday morning. If not, you can call Jennifer Frederick. Okay. As far as Anne Marie's report, there's been a lot of focus on mental health this last month, as she is now the treasurer of the Mental Health Collaborative, and so she's very involved with that. They're looking to get an Impact 100, hopefully in an Impact 100 grant, in order to continue the mental health first aid and do that. We did have a meeting of the Mental Health and Substance Abuse Visioning Committee again to talk about the issues that are facing the community right now, and the amount of deaths and suicides and overdoses are going up exponentially in the community, and so it's very concerning with that, and I'm sure Eric will probably talk to some of that here tonight too on that. And also the RFP that we've been working on the intensive outpatient program, there was a decision made to go with Cleveland Clinic, Indian River Hospital. There is some shortfall from a financial standpoint, and so we're working with a number of our philanthropic partners, the Community Foundation, United Way, and Johns Island, namely, to be able to work with them as well as the hospital district to understand what the funding could be and needs to be for that going forward. So I'm sure she'll have more on that when she gets back. So next, we're very pleased to have Megan McFall here. Megan, it's nice to see you in person. Megan is the Cleveland Clinic Indian River Hospital Director of Women's Health, and I will turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank every one of you for allowing me to come and present on a very exciting topic that we chose to endeavor on within the Women's Healthcare Department, and how we got recognized at a state level. So the initiative that we decided to partner with is the PROVIDE Initiative. It is an acronym for Promoting Vaginal Deliveries. The Quality Improvement Initiative is a partnership with the Florida Perinatal Quality Collaborative. The Florida Perinatal Quality Collaborative was established in 2010 to improve Florida's maternal and infant health outcomes through the delivery of high-quality care, evidence-based perinatal care. Their vision, which is almost identical to the vision of the Women's Healthcare Department at Cleveland Clinic Indian River Hospital, is that all mothers and infants will have the best health outcomes possible through receiving this high-quality, evidence-based perinatal care. The goal of the PROVIDE initiative is to improve maternal and newborn outcomes by applying evidence-based interventions to promote primary vaginal deliveries at our hospital. Just some information for everyone. An analysis of the Florida birth certificates showed that only 1/5 of the hospitals in Florida meet the Healthy People 2020 national goal for primary cesarean sections being 23.9% or less. So what is our why? Stakeholders across the country have begun to take note of cesarean delivery rates, including their impact on morbidity, mortality, and healthcare costs. The leadership team at Cleveland Clinic Indian River Hospital could not ignore that our primary cesarean section rate was above the national and Florida average, coming in at 31%. We knew that these unfavorable rates would be published nationally by the Joint Commission. So our department, made up of clinically sound, highly educated medical professionals, knew that cesarean sections increase risk of hemorrhage, infection, uterine rupture, cardiac events, psychological stress, longer hospital stays, and increased postpartum readmissions. We can't ignore the costs associated with this. It is shown that each cesarean cost increases $5,000 to $10,000 more than a vaginal birth. Based on Florida reports, maternal hospital cost savings for each Medicaid and private insurance cesarean section would be at least $4,000. Participation in the PROVIDE initiative helps hospitals like ours work in a collaborative with resources to help us implement evidence-based quality initiatives. It also offers an environment to learn together. So we decided to take that, to embark on this. Our team started this process back in November of 2019. At the beginning of this endeavor, we were overwhelmed, but we took the advice of the Florida Perinatal Quality Collaborative and started with a small but mighty team. We recruited a physician from each of the OB offices to help us lead the way. We planned a kickoff party in January to educate the team and ensure that we had all of the tools in place to move the dial with the hopes of making a difference in the lives of the mothers that trust us with their care. This photo was taken shortly after the presentation, and as you can see, our team was a little excited. We supported our bedside caregivers and found funding to send 65% of our nursing staff to a labor support seminar. This seminar is an evidence-based seminar that focuses on different laboring positions and tools that are used that provide the mother with the best chance of avoiding a cesarean section. The nurses at the bedside felt empowered and ready to put the education that they received to use. Physicians and patients alike will often request to schedule an induction, which is the artificial start of the labor process through medical interventions. To help guide the process, our team implemented an induction of labor booking sheet to be used for every single induction. This form ensures that we are being thoughtful around the process of inducing patients. It focuses on ensuring that we are following strong clinical practice recommendations and that we are not inducing a mother too early, which will contribute to an increase in cesarean section rates. And our final intervention put into place was to help assist with our phenomenal number of 31%, was to utilize an evidence-based pre-cesarean checklist. This checklist was created with recommendations from the American Congress of Obstetrics and Gynecologists, which is the physician's governing body. This tool has been shown to have an enormous impact of successfully reducing the cesarean section rates, and it incorporates the shared decision-making model between the nurse, the patient, and the physician. Partnering with the Florida Perinatal Quality Collaborative, providing the data and education to the team, and implementing the recommended tools allowed our team to positively impact the lives of our patients. This work allowed us to decrease our primary cesarean section rate in 2020 to 21%. This chart has a lot of exciting data points that I would like to point out. The yellow dotted line that you see represents our 2019 rate. As you can see, with the exception of October, we remain below that rate for the entire year. The dark green area represents the lowest portion of 25% of the hospitals in Florida. And for 9 months, we remained in that green area. Our team set out to make a difference with the help of many, and we changed the trajectory of the women's future obstetrical care. In December of 2020, our leadership team received a call from Dr. Bill Sappingfield, who happens to be the director of the Florida Perinatal Quality Collaborative. He asked for our leadership team to present at the end of the year's Florida Hospital Association report out. Our unit was recognized by the Florida Perinatal Quality Collaborative and the Florida Hospital Association with utilizing best practices to drive outcomes. We shared our why, we shared our how, and our results. Our team was excited to be recognized at that level and motivated us to continue to use our evidence-based practices. We learned some lessons along the way. We learned that it was imperative to involve the physicians because they truly are one part of the driving force of what type of delivery that we have. We also knew that we needed to truly implement the shared decision-making model. We also included Healthy Start into this process. They implemented a community doula program that allowed us to have those doulas at the bedside at no cost to the mother. And the evidence shows that the doulas also help decrease cesarean section rates tremendously. And then we also knew that we needed to share our success. So every single month, we published these results to the OBGYN physicians, to the executives at the hospital, and to our team to let them know that we had made tremendous leaps. So our goal and our hope is to only continue with this, to allow the moms to come in, to feel empowered, to say what they, the type of delivery that they want, and for us to hopefully be as successful as possible in making that happen. So I want to take a moment again to just thank Mr. Jones, who has been a huge advocate for women and children in this county, for inviting me to come and talk about the Provide initiative and the steps that we made. And I'm open to any questions that you might have.
Congratulations, Megan.
Thank you.
I think this is just outstanding.
Yes.
And, I mean, anybody should be proud. You should be very proud of what you all have accomplished.
We are.
Is it, I mean, I assume most mothers would prefer natural childbirth versus cesarean if they can, right?
Correct.
So I think that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations to your whole team, and thank you for your leadership and pulling all this together.
Absolutely.
You should be very proud.
Thank you.
Certainly we are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Megan.
Thanks, Megan.
We have a quarterly report now about Tykes and Teens from Eric Garza. Eric has been newly elected as the CEO of Tykes and Teens. Congratulations again, Eric.
Thank you. Okay. So, thank you, Madam Chair, for the introduction. Thank you, board members. And I just want to echo, thank you for all the hard work that you do in the community. Your leadership, your time is, priceless. Without board members like yourself, it's very difficult to do the work that we're able to do in the community. So again, just thank you for that. As mentioned, I am Eric Garza. I'm the new CEO of Tykes and Teens. I previously was the Chief Operating Officer of Tyson Teens for 3 years, but I've been with the agency since 2008 when I started as an intern. And our vision, with Indian River is to continue to provide more services over time. Tyson Teens has been in the community since 1996. On April 1st, we'll be coming up on our 25th anniversary, and so we're truly excited about the ongoing growth. In 2017, we began to expand here to Indian River County with our Healthy Families program that we took over, and with our infant mental health program. And then 2 years ago, we started with our ALTOS program, which is at the GYAC Center. And then that's when we also began to provide our alternative to out-of-school suspension services, which were funded. So in terms of just really quick trends, because you had mentioned what we're seeing in terms of mental health, we are seeing an increase in suicidal behavior by our teens. We are seeing self-injurious behaviors, running away from individuals. The fact of the matter is that COVID has isolated a population that typically is able to interact with their peers, be able to go out and release some stress, and they are having more difficulty with dealing with that on a day-to-day basis, which I applaud this board for searching for an IOP, and I agree with Cleveland Clinic being the choice in that, and if there's any way we can help support that, Tyson Teens will do its part. And so the last part that I would say before I turn it over to Andrea Greenlee, who's going to do our presentation, is the amount of DCF referrals that we're also have been receiving has started to go up, as well as more individuals are starting to go back to school, starting to go back to preschools. There are more touch points for younger individuals. So the referrals from the Department of Children and Families has also started to go up as well. So I'm going to pass it over to Andrea Greenlee, who's our Director of School-Based Services, who actually oversees this program, who's funded to do the presentation, but I'm going to sit right behind her to make sure if there's any questions that we have at the end, I'll make sure to answer them. So let me pass it over to Andrea.
Yes. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you again. I was here last year. I'm Andrea, and I've been at Tyson Teens since 1997, so a little longer than him. But I'm really excited about the change in our situation. The energy and excitement that I feel in the office it's really an exciting time to be a part of the agency. So thank you for this opportunity to present about our class program, the Counseling, Learning, and Support Services. You may remember last year it was a pilot program in collaboration with the school district, and you gratefully allowed us to continue that. We have 2 trauma-informed therapists embedded in 4 classrooms, so they spend the entire day supporting the most vulnerable members of our community. And so they're there to offer live support if a child is having some problems regulating their emotion. They model interventions for the teacher, and then they also go into the community and work with the family so that the skills are being set up across settings. So hopefully this will help the child learn some skills so that they'll be able to transition with the rest of their population, because right now they're in a specialized setting. Let's see, next slide, please. Oh, thank you. So if I go this way, that's what I want to do. All right, thank you. Sorry, a little technical difficulty on my part. All right, so we started the school year in the 4 previous schools where we ended our school year, at Citrus, Glendale, Pelican Island, and Osceola Magnet. However, due to COVID, a couple of the schools were kind of not problematic, but at Pelican Island, for example, there were actually a lot of students who elected to be remote learners. So in our specialized classroom, there were more adults than there were students. So we kind of looked at that to see, is this where our best resources are being spent? And then at Citrus, the specialized classroom, because there was a change in administration, that classroom was dissolved. So we went back to Dr. Packard to say where our other sites that may be, we may be able to help. And so she directed us to the Freshman Learning Center and the Wabasso School. So we're at two of our old schools, Glendale and Osceola Magnet, and our new schools are the Learning Center and Wabasso School. So I thought you may be interested in how we managed COVID or how we're managing COVID. At the center of all we do is the safety of our clients and their families and our staff. And in order to maintain that safety, it relies on a lot of communication. And we perform a lot of staff surveys to help us kind of update our pandemic response policy. And we get feedback about how we're doing and how our staff is feeling. If all the therapists are willing to go into the schools, which was wonderful because in another school district they weren't as willing, but our clinicians were willing to go into their schools at the beginning of the school year, and they've been very flexible because if a student is home on quarantine and they're feeling up to it, then we'll offer telehealth services just to maintain that consistency, which I think has been really helpful to the families in this really strange time. So if we do offer telehealth, it's through a HIPAA-compliant platform, which is called Doxy.me. So our outcomes at the moment, because this is just the first quarter, we've provided 36 hours of non-billable services, and 19 clients or pending clients have those individual education plans. And we've participated in meetings to kind of advocate from a trauma-informed stance about what services are best in place for them. 100% of our clients have been screened for depression. That's just kind of a standard thing for us to do. 100% of clients have been given the PHQ-9, and that's mainly occurred at the FLIC, and so the Freshman Learning Center. And that has been a recent increase because we just started there in January. And the numbers were low previously because the PHQ-9 specifies an age range of 12 and over, and previously most of our clients had been at the elementary school. And 100% of the clients who screened positive for depression have received follow-up care and are engaged in services. The average CGAS score of our clients is 54, which shows moderate difficulty in handling daily stressors. And the CFAR score is 33, which also indicates moderate difficulty. And that's based on 16 domains for the CFARs. Children's function, what does that mean? I've forgotten. CFARs.
Children's Functional Assessment Scale.
Rating scale, yes, thank you. And 4 students have transitioned successfully to new classrooms after learning skills. So in the case, the school where the classroom had been dissolved, one of the students was put into a regular ed class, and the teacher was very surprised to learn that she had previously been in a more self-contained setting because she had been a client who was having anger outbursts like 3 times a day, and she really made a change, and the teacher was very surprised that she was able to maintain. So I had the opportunity to call a couple of our parents. Our clinicians' names are Maria and Arida. One of Maria's fathers, the father of one of her clients, was very willing to talk about the great things he's seeing. And I thought this was funny. You know, as a parent, my worst fear is getting a phone call from school, but he was very excited to get a phone call because he was being told that his child had actually walked away from a fight, which is exactly what we want to have happen because the clinicians are in the classroom and able to intervene right at that moment, and it helps solidify the skills. Of the clients we've surveyed, our average satisfaction survey is 3.95 out of 5. Our agency standard is 3.5 out of 5, so we feel like we're doing a good job there. And when I was here last, we were expecting Joint Commission to come at any minute. They did, December 28th, and they had a lot of good things to say about us. That was a remote kind of assessment, which was a little interesting, but very fruitful. They noticed a lot of our strengths, like our psychiatric documentation. They asked that our targeted case management documentation be allowed to be added to their best practice library, which was a huge compliment for us. They liked how we use client quotes in our documentation, like psychosocials, our use of evidence-based interventions, how we use our spreadsheets and data tracking reports. and that the staff involvement in our surveys. The areas that need improvement are some environmental monitoring, like we had a couple of lights that were out and some fire extinguishers needed to be tended to. They suggested that we improve some wording on questions because for one of our questions we talk about cultural influences, and a lot of our clinicians were not clear on how to answer that very clearly, so we were getting a lot of not applicable statements, which is not, every family has their own culture, so we're looking at ways to provide better questions to expand that a bit. And then they recommended the PHQ-9 suicide screening, so we will be implementing that with all of our clients who are age 12 and over. I think there's some discussion about what's a more appropriate scale for the younger students or clients, and we're just waiting for their suggestion on what that might be. And I think that's it.
Thank you. I do want everybody to know that Eric and Tykes and Teens was the other one that applied or gave us a recommendation for the IOP. And while it wasn't directly an IOP, it was a very well thought out proposal on how they could increase in this community their effects on mental health for young people, all right, which is really, and that's their focus, yes.
Yes, and so really our hope in that proposal was somehow they have to be getting to the IOP. And so we felt that there was a need that needs to be added there in terms of dialectical behavioral therapy or a stopgap to kind of help them before they get there, or a step down. And so that was more of our proposal. It wasn't exactly what was being requested, and so that's why I completely agree with Cleveland Clinic. I think they have all the resources to do that, and I think going forward we can also partner together, because that's our vision of helping that population to make sure they don't have to use an IOP. So,
Right.
thank you.
But thank you for that, and thank you for the
Thank you. It was very good.
comments, questions.
Any questions?
Thank you.
No.
Take care of the children.
Yeah.
Yes, take care of the children. We birth them right, we get them healthy, but
There you
then, you
go.
know, we got to make sure they stay healthy, right? Okay. Is there any unfinished business among the trustees? New business, Jennifer.
Okay, so in your packet, you'll see we have resolution number 2021-01. The resolution you just read for Tracy was 02 because we had prepared this one prior to that, not to confuse anyone. But essentially, we need a resolution to appoint a records custodian for the Board of Trustees. That way, when public records requests come in, we have a place to properly archive them. This is something we've been doing anyways, but just kind of a belts and suspenders type matter. And Kate attended a seminar, I believe, a few months ago on the Sunshine Law, and it was something that they brought up. And so we talked about it and said, you know, that does make a good suggestion. So the resolution is to appoint Kate Voss as records custodian for the Board of Trustees, and should Kate be unavailable, the board then appoints Anne-Marie Soriano to act in her place instead. So she's really just going to do all the things she's been doing anyways, but under the title of records custodian. Can I have a motion to?
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. This resolution has been adopted.
Okay, any other new business? Any other business? Any public comment? If not,
Tracy, we expected a comment.
Tracy, thank you for coming and being with us tonight. I know, we really appreciate it. That's good. You know you're welcome anytime. Awesome. Thank you to all, and we are adjourned for tonight. Thank you.